How are you guys?
Welcome back. We're going to start our episode now.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta hit buttons.
Hit buttons.
Okay,
hey
welcome
guys,
back.
Welcome back. This is episode number 70. Today we're going to talk about how to make your homeschool more fun.
And this is going to be, Karn and I are both have the opportunity in a couple weeks to present at the Home Education Council of America, or HECOA. We don't know if they say HECOA.
Yeah, we're not sure exactly, letters. But HECOA, I don't know. But we're presenting at their conference, and it's a free homeschool conference. They call it the Not Back to School Summit. Is that right?
I'll double check.
Pretty sure.
Not Back to School Summit, and it's free.
It's all free. So if you go to hecoa.com, HECOA.com, you can register for that, and you'll get to see both of ours, which will have what we're talking about today and then one we do next week, but also we'll go into more detail because they'll be longer. And lots of other awesome speakers.
So it's August 24th through 28th, every day at 10, 1, and 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah.
So we thought we'd give a little previews of what we will be talking about. And today we're going to start with the lovely Karn and what she will be presenting on.
Yay, I already told you.
Yeah.
So, you know. But yeah, we're going to talk about how to make your homeschool more fun. And I guess this is my thing. Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, you're the Pinterest goddess. And
apparently, yeah. I like Pinterest. Yeah, so I'm going to give you some tips today. But first of all, I want to give you just a little disclaimer because yes, I'm on Pinterest.
Yes.
And yes, lots of my things are on Pinterest. But my everyday is not Pinterest worthy. I promise you.
What?
I promise you. Most of the time I have to clear off a table to get those Pinterest worthy pictures. But no, in reality though, every day is not going to look like this. These are tips and ideas to get your mind rolling and to get things, just to help kind of change things up for days when they're hard or when you just want to do something a little different than the norm. So our normal days are just really normal and really just, we do our math and we do our English and we do, just our normal subjects. And then from time to time, we change things up. So I want to give that disclaimer because I very often get comments from people about how they wish their homeschool looked like mine and they wish I was their kid's teacher or, things like that. And it always makes me feel really bad because it's not my goal in sharing ideas is to make others feel bad and feel like they're doing less. It really isn't my goal. My goal is really just because I enjoy doing fun things and I want to help others to find fun things to do with their kids so that their children can find ways to love learning.
Yeah.
And that really is my goal. And I hope you don't ever scroll through my Instagram feed, which I'm not super consistent anyway on Instagram, but I hope it doesn't make you feel bad when you scroll through it.
That's funny. I actually did a post and I talked about how my homeschool is not a Pinterest board. And there's not a whole lot of posts of my children homeschooling because I know yours is like showing your products and cool stuff like that. But it feels weird and artificial to have like live feed of actual homeschooling.
Yeah.
Like, hi children.
And another just funny little side note that I'll share with you is that my kids are kind of sick of some of my stuff. It's funny because sometimes their cousins will come over and they beg and plead for me to do a project with them. Whereas my kids are like, do I have to? So sometimes the things that I post, they weren't all that even excited about it because we do that kind of stuff too often.
Yeah.
So just a couple little side notes there. So you don't feel bad when I list these ideas and you're not doing them all.
Right. And I think Karn has fun ideas and sometimes I do them and sometimes I don't. And if they work with our schedule, like we throw it in. And if it doesn't, no big deal. But it's just so good to have some variety sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes we get caught up in the things we have to do every single day. And, just the monotony. And so these things will just be a great way to just stop the list checking and try something a little different and just add some enjoyment and variety into your day. And why do we do these kinds of things? I have, a few ideas here, but I took a lot of like child development and teaching classes in college growing up for my major. But one of the things that I always remembered was that multi-sensory learning is really important for kids. And the more senses you involve in their learning, the more likely it's going to be remembered later on. And so when you change things up and when you add variety, you add toys, or you add tastes, or different things like that to the learning process, they're going to remember it more. And that's just like a scientific proven fact. And so that's a good reason why. Also, I really think it helps kids to learn to love learning.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a really big part of my philosophy, is how can you make kids love this? I was doing long division today with my son just before coming over, and he was hating it. I was like, I used to hate this. And I remember when I had to teach my first child long division, and he was crying.
Yeah.
Just like today, there were some tears. And I think I was crying too, because I didn't remember how to do it.
Today or the first
No,
time?
not today. The first time, years ago, when my oldest son was probably 4th grade or whatever. And he was first learning it. And I was like, I don't remember either. And I remember a day where we both were in tears. And so that was when I was like, oh, we got to do something a little different here today. But today I pulled out, we have just a little boogie board we just got for my kids. And so we were having fun writing the problems on the boogie board. And for some reason that made it okay. Like, we weren't doing anything different. We were writing the problems, but I was like being silly and just, chatting and laughing through it. And he finally was like, this is okay. And I was like, I used to hate this, but guess what? I think it's really cool now.
Yeah.
Look how fun this is when you do this. And he was like, Mom, you're so weird. I'm like, that's all right. We're having fun now, aren't we? And he's like, yeah, I guess it's all right. So it was just a simple thing. It was like changing where we wrote it and how we talked through the problem, but he was so happy.
Isn't that cool that it wasn't even something grandiose?
Yeah.
And it still made it more fun and interesting. And like, oh, this wasn't so bad.
Yeah. And we did a couple of problems where I would race him. I'm like, all right, let's see who can get this problem done first. And I would just like really quick scribble it. And he would be on the first line first. And he's like, wait a minute. And I'm like, hey, you can get better. And it was just funny. We were just laughing through it. So one simple thing. One other reason is, again, like I was just saying, kids will be more engaged in the learning process and just enjoy it more. And then when you're using different styles of learning, kids learn in different ways. Like, everybody kind of has well,
there's like tactile learner, visual learner, audio learner.
Yeah. You usually have one that you're like strongest on. Mm-hmm. And so when you're using a variety of styles of learning, your kids are going to use different parts of their brain, and it's going to help them learn new things in different ways.
Yeah.
And you may find the best one for them in that process as well.
Yeah, I do like that, to being able to find out what their style of learning is, because if you have a child who is great at audio learning, they may want to listen to something, or you know what I mean? And so I love that, being able to have the variety and options.
Yeah, so I was thinking about variety, speaking of, and I was thinking about my diet, and every day I don't want to eat the exact same thing. Do you?
No, I get very bored.
I get bored really easily.
But it's funny, like I'll go like 3 days and then I'm like,
yeah,
okay,
I kind of get in a rut and I'm like, I want this same thing for lunch for 3 days in a row, or breakfast or something. But then I'm like, yeah, I need something different. And I feel like it's the exact same way with learning for kids. If they every single day have to diagram 10 sentences, and they're just going to really hate that after a while, right?
Yeah.
After 5 days of that, they're going to complain and want to do something different. And so it's just the same. Think of, you're eating, you don't want the same thing to eat every day. Kids don't want to do the exact same thing in their school every day. So they need that variety, and that variety makes things more enjoyable, and changing up the routine can just breathe a lot more life into those lessons.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I like that. No, I like that. That's like, it's so simple.
Yeah.
Just putting it out into words like that, it makes sense. Like, well, yeah, I would get sick if every day, and you've heard mom say that, the monotony of your day. Like, I get up, I feed everybody, we bathe.
I know, I sometimes think that as I'm lying in my bed and I'm like, what am I going to do today? Oh, the same thing I did yesterday. Isn't that exciting? Do I have to get out of my bed today? But when you have something to look forward to that day, instead, oh, we're going to go on a really fun hike today, or we're going to go to my sister's and play today, or, whatever it might be, that gets you excited to get up in the morning, right? And it just kind of changes things enough that it makes it more interesting.
This is funny. So we did today, for us, when this is being recorded, it's our Happy Not First Day of School. And I took 6 of the monkeys hiking because my daughter couldn't go. And I can't believe we used to do this every week as part of school, and how fun it was. And so the big boys were all there, and they were like, did we really go every week? And they were thinking about it, like, that was so fun that we would go to a different hike every week and explore things and create. And that was some of their, I think that was in my son's episode that we did when he graduated. That was one of his highlights of homeschooling, was the hiking each week. So awesome. It's so funny that it's just something simple, but it broke up the day, got us out of the house, something different, but learned a ton.
Yeah, definitely. So nature is definitely one of those things that I think is important to incorporate into your lessons. And we often will just go in the backyard with a blanket and do the same thing that we would have done inside, but we do it outside. And for some reason, it makes it so much more fun. And I think I've mentioned this a couple times, but my kids love that. And it's silly, but we love it. And
Yeah.
Or sometimes you just pack a little picnic lunch and you go to a park and you have your school at a park, or, you know, whatever it might be, but just doing something like that where it changes it up enough, but you're not doing anything different, really. It's just a new place.
Yeah.
And that is big and makes a big difference. Some other things that I like, especially for math, when kids are young, we like to use a lot of like toys and manipulatives for them. Like little counting bears or snap cubes to help them visualize. We have a 100 board, which we love and we've used it a ton, where you just count out the numbers on this big board of 10 by 10. And my youngest right now loves to do that, and she'll pull that out. We're missing one number. It makes her so sad every time. I should just make one.
Yeah.
But but that's just a simple little thing. Like if they're learning addition, or they're learning counting, or they're learning multiplication, those kinds of little tools can make it so simple and change it up enough that they may even be able to grasp a concept that they couldn't previously, just because they can physically make those numbers.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting when mine are really learning to count, like the very basics, 1 through 10. We play board games, and they may not even know how to play the game, but just so they can move a guy and count the spaces and make sure their guy stays in the right spaces. And so it's fun.
It's a really good skill for them.
Yes, it's so simple. Walking up the stairs and jumping on them and counting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
When they're really little.
And games are such a great way to change up learning. We have a ton of board games, and most of them have some sort of educational slant to them because I buy them for school every year. And so we have tons of math games and spelling games and, you know, all kinds of things like that we love to pull out during school just to change things up for a day. Like my son, if he's struggling with multiplication, we'll pull out a game and we'll try this instead. And even a deck of cards can be such a fun thing to do for math sometimes. You know, you do math war with a deck of cards.
Like add it together, subtract it together.
Yeah, and it's just so simple but so much fun. Dominoes are another good one for kids learning to count the dots and learn, you know, just the formation of the dots and what the numbers mean. And puzzles. My 6-year-old's geography lesson this week was a puzzle of the United States, and she just got to put that together, and we're putting it together. And I said, where do we live? And she points out Utah. And where did mommy grow up? And she points out Florida. And where did grandma and grandpa live? And and so we can learn a couple of little states that way, and it's just fun for her. So there's another fun little simple thing. For reading and spelling, when my kids are little, we've still got a couple little ones there. Spelling can sometimes be an issue and a thing that makes some of my kids cry, at least.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of just spelling.
We don't do a lot of it, but there are times where I'm like, we need to. I used to do spelling lists.
Yeah, I did,
but I don't really anymore. But I still like to, just get them engaged in stuff. And some of the ways we do that, I have this deck of cards that I found on a website years and years ago, but it's 100 ways to make spelling fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's so fun. It's just silly little things like squirting water bottle to spell the word, or hopscotch spelling, or just silly little things like that you wouldn't think of, but they're so fun and easy. You can get out those little dot markers and write the words with that. We've written them in stickers or with pebbles or just different things to, again,
that's great for a tactile learner too, to really hold on to it. I love, we quit when I used to do spelling. Sometimes we would break it up and say, let's just play Boggle. Let's play Bananagrams.
Yeah.
And it's funny because they want to win, so they care way more about how to spell something playing a game versus what was my word? I don't know.
Today Burton wrote his words on a window with a dry erase marker.
I love that. I think that's the cutest idea.
Yeah, that was fun. He was excited about that. So, none of those are big, grandiose things, and it's not something every single day you have to make spelling this big ol' ordeal. But if they're bored with it that day, just say, hey, let's today write your spelling on the sidewalk with water, or, whatever. And then suddenly it's exciting, right?
Yeah, that's really fun.
Yeah. So another thing we like to do are just different special days. And my kids, the libraries aren't open right now, but when the libraries were open, every first Monday of the month is our library day.
I thought it was, or do you just have to like pre?
You have to pre, and we just haven't done it.
No, I don't. My son goes and he comes back with books.
Pre-check them out, and they will they'll meet you at the curb with them. But we haven't done it since they closed. But because it's more fun going in and looking for the books you want.
Yeah,
it's kind of more of an experience. So we go and we fill, like I let my kids check out as many books as they want. We fill our bags with books, and then we come home and we curl up on the couch or a bed or somewhere and just snuggle in and read our books. And that's our school for that day.
That's fun.
They love it so much. And they think that they're getting the day off, but they're just reading, you know, and who doesn't want their kids to read all day? Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. Do you guys do snacks or anything fun like that?
Oh, yeah, just whatever they want. It's basically just like a free-for-all, snuggle down with blankets and pillows, and they pile up the bed with stuffed animals and whatever they want to do, and we just have fun and read.
Do you ever, I don't know if your school ever did it, but every blue moon mine did a Readathon.
Oh, we did do those, yeah.
Yes, where you'd bring blankets or pillows and candy and whatnot.
I forgot about those.
I always thought that was really fun.
That is a lot of fun.
Doing a readathon, like we're not going to do school today.
Yeah.
So everybody get comfy, stay in your jammies, get a treat, or have some, you know, like we're going to
I have a friend I was talking to this summer who, her kids don't like reading. And so she, for the summer, was paying them per page that they read. And I can't remember what, it wasn't a lot, like 10 cents per page or something like that. And my kids heard that and they flipped out. They were like, will you do that for us?
Yeah.
And I said, no way, you guys read way too much. I would be totally broke. But I thought that was kind of a fun idea for kids. If they don't like to read, that could be a good incentive.
That's funny. We had a goal this year to read 100 books as a family, and we hit that like within the first few months. And so we're like, well, that was a short-sighted goal, and it had limits too. Like, I mean, they couldn't be under 100 pages.
Yeah.
And every 500 pages counted as. No, I don't think it did. I think it still counted as one book. But it had to at least be like a book. It couldn't be a comic book.
I love that. That's fun.
And it was funny because we're like, okay, 100 between all of this. That's probably a good goal. And we're
so how many did you end up doing? Do you know?
I don't know.
You just lost track?
We hit over 100 and we just said, this is pointless.
That's cool.
We needed way more.
So another fun special day we like to do, and Megan does this too, is a tea party, the poetry tea party. And we just had one today. And my kids got so excited. They set the table all pretty. They made little cucumber sandwiches and popcorn and picked blackberries from our bushes and made...
I did eat some of Karn's blackberries.
They're so good. It's my favorite time of year when my blackberries are ripe. And we made like iced herbal tea, we made lemon chamomile tea, and we just sat and read poetry, and we got out Shel Silverstein and passed the book around the table, and everybody was just laughing and read more. And we spent a long time just doing that today, and it was so fun. And it's fun to just, that's such a simple thing to do that creates such good memories. And
well, that's what mine still, like, we didn't do our main subjects, their subject of the day for summertime. And every Tuesday, I had a couple kids going, oh, I can't wait for poetry today. And I go, oh, I'm sorry, like, I'm off duty this summer. I just do read aloud a minute with mom.
Oh, that's cute.
And so they're super excited when we start school back up.
Mine were so excited. We just started yesterday, officially back up. And they were so excited to start school. And it just made me really happy. All except one. One wasn't very excited, but the rest were very excited. It just made me really happy though that they were so into it, and all the little things in our routines, and they were so happy.
Yeah, total tangent, but I can't remember. Do you usually start school when our school district starts?
We usually do. Okay. Sometimes a little later, but I was ready to start. Our district started this week, and it was today and yesterday for the junior high. I was just really ready because we've had such a long break with everything else going on that I just wanted our routine back.
Oh, okay.
And I think my kids, most of them did too. They were ready. Yeah, usually I'll wait till the beginning of September.
Yes, we did school through summer and ended last week, and then we're taking the next 2 weeks off.
Oh, that's nice.
So we're hiking. We actually are getting wisdom teeth out, not me. And then what else? Another kid's getting their license.
Fun.
So it's not super relaxing. I was hoping to go camping.
Another fun special day that I have a lot of friends that do this, we have not, but I love the idea, is doing a showcase for like the end of the term.
Yes.
And this, for example, if you're studying, I don't know, let's pick a country, Ireland, or no, that's a hard one. Italy, let's say Italy. You're studying Italy and you invite friends and family over, and your children have made the Colosseum out of something, and you have an Italian dinner, and their artwork is displayed, and all the things that they've done that term.
Some Italian or
yeah, they
fun.
share the words they learned from the Italian words they've learned, or whatever it might be, whatever you've studied that semester. And you have your family and your friends over, and you just have a little showcase, and your kids can maybe recite the poem they learned and show off some art projects they made and different things that they've learned. And it's just a really fun thing to do. And we did something kind of simplified with that, where my daughter was working on a project for Greek mythology.
Okay.
And at the end of that, she wanted her grandparents to come and listen to her give her report on it. So we did that one time, and she was so excited, and it gave her a lot more incentive to really put a lot of work into the things she was doing, because she knew that she was going to be sharing it with others. And so if your kids know that, and they have an end date, and they have a reason, they're going to really put a lot of effort into their things.
Yes, I think that for me, the trickiest part was finding people who wanted to come over.
I know.
And to see my kids.
I know. Grandparents always want to do that, though, right?
Not mine.
My kids' grandparents would. They would suffer through it for us.
So I love the idea, and we have a mutual friend who does it quite a bit, and I always think that sounds so fun, but I don't even want to watch it.
Oh, that's funny.
So
that's because you live through it every day.
Yeah,
but other people don't.
I don't know that I'd want to watch somebody else's kid either.
It's hilarious.
Just let me go running with your kid. I don't want to watch them.
Okay, a couple more ideas are holiday learning.
You have tons of fun
we love
stuff
to
with
do
this.
stuff different for the holidays. Like for Halloween, my kids, I was asking them, what are some things you love? We do candy learning the day after Halloween, where we'll just measure and weigh, and that too. How do you feel today?
Let's talk about health.
For reals. But honestly, we'll graph like how many we got of different types of candy. Here's funny. All the fruity candies and the chocolatey candies, or here's how many Skittle packs we got, or things like that. And we turn it into a math lesson, and it's just a lot of fun. And they can eat while they're doing it, and just it just makes it a really fun day. And we have one of those weighted scale things with the buckets, and they'll measure and see what weighs more, Skittles or Snickers. Snickers, obviously, because they really satisfy. And just silly things like that. And so it's a lot of fun. We like doing that. Valentine's Day, kind of the same things. I usually do a special breakfast on the morning of Valentine's, and we'll do like candy heart bingo and different math things with candy as well on those days. A little less on Valentine's. But Christmas and Thanksgiving, I love to turn into our school, where we're learning about the history, and we're learning about the culture, and we're learning the foods, and my kids like to learn how to make our favorite traditional recipes. And also at Christmas time, we're learning to make homemade gifts for family members.
Oh, that's cute.
So my kids will do, I help them each make a homemade gift for each other. And that's, a handicraft skill that they're learning, and a good life skill as well. And so those are just some really fun things that you can do at holiday time that we love.
Yeah. Well, I saw, so you have sewing on here, which I think is fun. We used to have a paper you would sew. So you would take out the the thread, and then you would try to trace like a rabbit, or like
by sewing it.
Well, no, with a machine.
Oh, on a machine. Oh, that's fun.
It was really fun. And so that's just a fun handicraft skill. And I did it with my big kids. And I thought I need to resurrect some of these things for
you should.
The younger ones.
That's what I've started doing with the second half, because my two big kids have outgrown all that, and now the younger two don't remember or weren't alive, and so we're redoing a lot of
or weren't allowed to touch the sewing machine.
Exactly. Yeah. Another way to change things up are just field trips. We do a lot of field trips throughout our school year on a normal year.
I know. I don't even know what's open right now.
I don't either. My kids were asking to go to the aquarium, and I honestly have no idea what's open, and I don't care right now as much.
Yeah, so I'm just going to the mountains.
We're doing mostly outdoor stuff as well. But normally, you've got museums and zoos and aquariums, and there's a lot of people that do something called road schooling, which I'm intrigued by, but I don't think I could ever convince anyone in my family to do it.
Yeah,
but
to go live.
Well, no, it's just, living in a camper for months or a year, or...
I just want to try it out for like a month or something.
Try it for a month, and you can just go place to place around the country and learn the history as you're going, and learn the geography as you're going. And I just think it would be so cool.
I do too.
So
I've been trying to convince my family.
Yeah.
But
anytime I bring something like that up to my husband, he is just not.
Well, I made
Not
sure we
interested.
bought our RV, and I made sure we got one I could drive. And so I thought, well, I'm actually okay if I just go by myself. So I've got to get my kids on board because they're like, ooh, that seems kind of long. So
Yeah.
we just try a couple weeks.
Yeah.
See how we'd like
That
it.
would be fun, I think.
I think so.
It'd be a neat experience. See where am I? Oh, doing school outside. I kind of already touched on that, but backyard, favorite park, hiking, nature walks. We like to do nature walks and we have some of the different nature study books that you can get that, you know, teach you about different things, or
Do you have a favorite?
nature guides. We lately have been using just the Good and the Beautiful one.
Oh,
it's really simple, and it has it kind of by season, and so you can pull out, you know, in the summer you do these things, in the fall you do these things, and so that's kind of fun to do. But I've probably got 10 different ones, so I don't know offhand. I can't think of any others.
What your favorite is?
I can look them up and put them in some show notes for you, though. Another thing I really love to do is just let the kids pick their learning sometimes. Like, for instance, when we're starting the semester, I'll let them, okay, what do you want to learn for science this year? And if they are making that selection and choosing the books, they're so much more excited about learning, and it makes it just a whole lot more fun. I know that's not a different thing necessarily, but I think it's really important for kids to have that option when they're planning their learning. And then finally I have our co-op, and
that is happening.
It is happening. It is. We're excited that it is.
A little different.
But we're excited it's still happening. So right now, with COVID going on, obviously co-ops are going to be different or non-existent. But I know there's a lot of people still doing smaller ones. Like, for instance, my sister, who's homeschooling this year for the first time, is doing one with 5 families that went to her school. Her daughters were in a French immersion program.
Oh, okay.
And she really wanted them to keep up learning French. And so she found 5 families that also were in that school. And they're doing a twice a week meetup where they have a tutor come in so that their kids are still learning to speak in French. And she's so excited. And I just think it's an awesome idea.
What a great idea.
Yeah. So whatever your kids are passionate about, you know, if it's science, do a little science group, and once a week have a couple of families that you meet with, and you could do that outside even. And then you're a little safer and cleaner or whatever. But
you know what's fun too is that these are the days they remember.
Yeah.
And that they're few and far between to help that, like, oh, that's right, I do love it when we do this. And it's a fun novelty. Like, Christmas would get boring if every day were Christmas.
Yeah.
But every now and then you're like, we're gonna break out this for this subject today, or we're doing our readathon, we're going to the library day, we're doing these things. And when they look back, those are the things they're gonna remember and have very fond memories of the time they spent. So
yeah, I definitely
exciting.
agree. Yeah. So there's some ideas for you how to make your homeschool more fun. I hope you found something
fun about it.
Fun.
No, so Karen will be doing a full hour presentation about this topic in a couple of weeks. Do you know what day of the week? I think I put you on the spot. Tuesday or Wednesday?
I think it's a Tuesday, but I can't remember.
Okay. We'll if you go over to HECOA, you can sign up, and then you'll see our bios on there with our days and times.
We'll put it in the show notes too, so you don't have to remember anything.
Oh, good. All right. Thanks, guys.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.